Okay, so I want to go over team share, uh, or yeah, team share drive. But like I said before, I can't connect to the VPN at the same time of this Zoom call, or else my screen will black out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to connect to. I'm going to use TeamViewer to connect to one of the Westbrook computers. So just as an FYI, if anyone is using it right now, I'm going to use it right now. And if you guys don't know how to use TeamViewer, this is also the same thing. Ask Andrew and he'll also help you set it up. But basically what TeamViewer allows you to do is that it gives you remote control access to one of the on-campus UBC computers or EML computers. And on there, you don't need a VPN to access their team drive because it's, they're there, or the team share. So I'm going to connect. There's an ID for whatever the control is. There is a password, right? And each of these passwords will be different, but in this particular case, this computer, which is something that we might be sharing anyway as I go into it, it's just Westbrook, WESBROOK is the ID, log on. Now it's going to be connected to that computer, and now this is what the screen will look like. You'll have a separate whole window that is open, and within this window is actually, you're seeing the desktop of this computer, and I'm controlling it through like my regular mouse. Okay, I'm going to close that. So looking at the team drive, and this is what you should see when you're connecting to the VPN, like on your own personal computer, you'll be greeted with this at first. And as I mentioned before, to grab all your files that you're going to be working with or to optimize, you go into internal, reconstruction output, and then whatever department that you're going through. So we did the Flask, so that was in tests. And then Flask scan, and then here are the original scan models and the texture files. That's where you grab it from, right? And then you'll notice these are all the other folders. Okay, so once you exported out your model, you're happy with it, you're done. You want to upload it into this team shared drive by going into optimization output to whatever department again, in this case we'll go tests, Flash scan, and then we'll put in our model, our .obj file, .mtl, and .png. Okay, and you want to make sure it's all in the same folder. Okay, what you want to do is upload it to our model viewer server. Okay, it's a separate server that basically anyone can connect to and access. And for to do that, I know that I think this computer, this particular Westbrook computer that I connected to, has a shortcut right up here. It says ubc.cincinnati.labs.com. I'm going to double click that. What that does is that, okay, if it tells you to upgrade, do not upgrade it, just in case we're going to close. It'll actually open up an FTP server. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically just some remote server that you can access and share files along. Think of it like part of a cloud. It'll open up this window, and in here, if I go into root, this is actually all our departments, right? So if you want to upload your model for whatever department that you optimized, in this case, I'm going to use tests again, right? And then it's going to be Flask. I just want to click and drag. And this is a window within TeamViewer, so you might have to open it up again and go to that directory. But I can click and drag and let go. I'm not going to because it's already existing there. And it'll upload it to this server. Okay, once it's uploaded to this server, you can double check what it looks like in the model viewer by going into any kind of Chrome or Windows tab. I'm going to use this, and then you type in this address, ubc.cincinnati.labs.com/models. Models with an S, okay? Once you enter this, it'll ask for a sign-in. This login is actually, everyone has it, like everyone on the team has this universal login, but collaborators can't access this. So I think it is TLEF, right? And then password is uppercase UBC 2020. Okay, we're gonna sign in. It'll open up this page and there's a bunch of web links. Okay, these actually display all your models that's uploaded to this drive. So in any departments. So we have Anthro, BD, we have Forest, Land and Foods, MOA, as well as tests, right? So if I want to check, I think this one is it. Let's see, tests flash. This is optimized. I'm going to click on this. It'll open up a tab and it'll start loading up your model in your web browser. Okay, it might take a little bit to load depending on the model, but once that is done, you can rotate around by holding right click. Okay, great. So you can see this is the model that I optimized beforehand. It's all patched up. We got rid of that platform, and you can rotate around by dragging left click, right? And if you want to pan, right, you hold right click to pan. And to zoom is just a mouse scroll. But yeah, so you can see, look at your model like that, and you're like, great, you can add annotations. The annotation feature is usually reserved for the collaborators. They will basically, which I'm going to show you next, once you've uploaded your model into the server, you're going to grab this link. So I'm going to copy this link and paste it and post it in a Basecamp forum under whatever collaborators model it is. And then they'll be able to go right into this link, look at this model in their web browser, and add any annotations that they want to add to either leave comments for us to adjust and tweak, or just to say good job. Okay, so let's say I'm done moving around my files in here. I can close this, I can close this, I can close this, and I'm going to log out. And I think there's should be a okay, my Zoom thing is like sort of blocking. Okay, I can click here. I'll just close it. It'll log out from that computer, and I'm back to like my actual desktop. Okay, so that's TeamViewer, that's TeamShare. Now I'm going to go into Basecamp. If you don't have access to this Basecamp project, I suggest messaging Sharon H, and getting access to this Basecamp. But Basecamp is basically like a project management forum where we use it to mainly communicate with the collaborators, and anyone can post anything, and we have like some threads that are going. Okay, so let's say, for example, because there is no test department, let's say we just optimized a model for MOA. Okay, so you'll see that there's a feedback thread for MOA, and there should be a forum for each department. I think there is, if I go on 68 more discussions, there should be a forum for like each department, like soil monoliths. There's MOA. I think there's one with forest. Okay, it's not specifically named. If you don't see a forum where you could post to, like based on the department that you want to post to, you can just post a new and start a new forum and make sure that you tag whoever the collaborators are under that forum. So just to really quickly show you, I'm going to post a new message. I'm going to say, this is test feedback forum. Okay, I'm going to paste the link that I copied earlier. I just realized that I copied that link inside TeamViewer, so that doesn't exist. But I remember the web link. Let's say this is what you copy and pasted. It's that, and then, okay. Oh, okay, great. So let's say that was the web link that you pasted, and then you want to put a little note for like, hey, hi, whoever, Optimize models and have a look. Okay, and then it'll ask you to who you want to send it to. So here, I'm gonna click, let me choose who should get the email. And then I can click in whoever should be CC'd in. And you wanna make sure that either me or Mike is CC'd in, as well as whoever is the collaborator that you're working with under that department. So Cole is Beatty. Darlene, we don't have to worry about because it's taken out, but that would have been anthropology. And Moa is Sue. Oh, Susie. Or no, it's Sue Rowley. For Forest, it is Richard. And that's who we have so far. And for soil model, it's Maya. Okay, so then once you select those, you post a message, and then hopefully they'll respond and then give you feedback on whatever the model that you posted. And then from then on that forum, you just keep updating and post new links or whatever. Okay, so that's pretty much how you use Basecamp. Once you're in Basecamp, you'll get a bunch of emails from like different feedbacks or different forums and things like that. You can see who commented on what, and you can check up the progress on them. But that's about it. It's pretty self-explanatory as Basecamp, and that's pretty much the entire process from optimization to posting the link on Basecamp to get feedback from the collaborators. Okay. Once a model is confirmed to be really good and the collaborator is happy with it in this Basecamp, right? After we show them in the model viewer, then our next task is to grab the same models, those models, and upload it to Sketchfab. So I'm going to go over Sketchfab. So in Sketchfab, right now, everyone is using the same Sketchfab account. I'll post the account details on Slack, but this is actually Cole's Slack, Cole's Sketchfab account. But everyone should have their own, but they just don't yet because they have to pay for it. Anyways, once you're on Sketchfab and you logged in, you want to upload your models. So you're going to hit upload. You're going to basically go into your folder that you have, and you want to grab the .obj, .mtl, and .png and zip it up. So I'm going to send to zip. Now it's going to zip it, and in that zipped folder, you're going to just drag and drop in here, right? I'm going to upload files. Now it's going to upload it initially to the site, and then there's going to be a processing time. This processing time can take a bit. It can take like 5, 10, or like sometimes even 30 minutes, depending on how big your model file size is. Just to keep that in mind, Sketchfab only allows you to upload zip folder file sizes, anything that's under 200 megabytes. Okay, so if your model size itself is like 215 megabytes, after you zip it, it'll actually get a little bit smaller, so you can upload that into Sketchfab. But just make sure that zip folder that you uploaded is under 200 megabytes. Okay, so right now it's processing. I can replace this title with whatever the model name is. I don't need to add a description. You can if you want. You don't have to worry about any of these other things except for here. Here's the most important part. Right now, you'll see the status, which is the draft. Draft means that we can see it as long as we're logged into the account. We can make adjustments or whatever, but the public can't see it. Okay. And during this processing loading screen, you can exit out and return back to it and adjust whatever settings and actually post it if you will have something else to do. But it's in draft mode. Here, who can see, we want to limit this to anyone with the link. Okay, so you want to set that. If it's something where you just want to test something out and you just want to see or play around in Sketchfab, then you can just keep it in draft mode, so just don't ever publish it. Because we only get a certain amount of uploads every month, right? They're called upload credits. And as soon as we make it anyone with a link or anyone with a link and password or private or non-downloadable, okay, and we post it publicly, right? We upload and post, then it takes up and uses up one of the upload credits. This is sort of important because since we're only allowed 30 uploads a month, we want to be careful on what we actually upload. So if we already got the go ahead and the collaborator wants us to upload to Sketchfab, then great, we'll go anyone with a link, we'll say no for download, and then we're gonna post and save it. Now, for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm not actually going to upload it. And it'll just stay in draft, so I won't use up the upload credits. Okay, great. So let's say you made these changes and you're still waiting for this to be processed. You want to hit save so you can come back to it. Okay, so while it's processing, you can't really adjust it, but there is some adjustments or settings that I can go through to help. What I'm going to do is just grab one of the pre-existing drafts that we have. Sure, let's do MOA test. Okay, so in your drafts, you'll load the 3D model. And if you haven't played with Sketchfab before, the whole platform is a model viewer platform where you can upload any model and anyone on the site can look around and view it within that window, just like our own personal model viewer. So in here, this is the name. I want to go to edit 3D settings. This is different from edit properties. Edit properties is the screen that I showed you before where you can adjust the title, who can see it on Sketchfab, and if it's downloadable or not. We want to go edit 3D settings. So we're going to go ahead and edit 3D settings. It'll open up this new other window. Okay, and it's going to load the model. Now here, when you first upload the model, it might look like it's not oriented properly. Luckily, in Sketchfab, they have tools where you can quickly orient it without actually having to re-upload everything. So here is a straighten model in General tab under Scene. I can click on one of these arrows, and you'll see that it'll straighten it in 90-degree increments, right? So you can use this to orient it, as well as if you want more finer tuning, you check on Show Advanced Rotation, and now it's similar to in ZBrush, where we can rotate it incrementally. Okay. The rest of this can stay the same. If you want to change the background, and the default background I like to go with, just for consistency's sake, is this dark gray. And there's two dark grays. There's a darker gray and a lighter gray. So the darker gray is this, right? But you'll notice that some of your objects with the texture have a gray texture, so they might not look so good under this dark gray background. So the darker or the lighter gray is 7A, 7A, 7A. So now you can actually see it. We like setting this kind of background more than just the pure white because the white can be a little blinding for some people. And this will be used in the class setting, so you don't want to just suddenly pop this open. Okay, so that's great. Those are those settings. Now we're going to the lighting tab. And for the most part, lighting should be okay. Okay, and it's really quick to set it up. If you go down here to environment, it says industrial room. Without getting too much detail into it, basically these are preset landscape lights where they use pictures as a way to light your object. They're called HDRIs. Instead of industrial room, we want to use studio. Okay, what studio will do is that will give us harsher shadows, and it'll give us a certain point so we can actually see the overall object. If it is too dark here, then just change this to just change it back to industrial room. And that should be totally fine. Okay. Sometimes the collaborator may say that they want their shadows darker, or they say the details feel a little too grayish. That's when you can play around and choose the different images and see which one fits the best. Now, if you want more finer light control, you can toggle on lights. Okay, what this will do, it'll actually give you 3 different lights, and you can add more that you can move around and point. Okay, and you'll see that these are the different settings. This has a blue hue by default. I like changing it all to white, and you can see that I can change the lighting like that. And you can play with these if you really want to. I recommend playing with these so you understand the tools and you can make whatever adjustments. But these are directional lights, meaning that it doesn't matter if I move them, it won't change the lighting. But if I rotate them, whatever direction they're pointing at, that's how it's lighting it. And then there's a point where if I do move it, it actually reacts to it. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, see? And then there's a spotlight, which is, as the name suggests, a spotlight. And then I have a sphere, which is the whole background. Yeah. So I recommend playing with this if you can, but that's how you get some finer light control. I'm gonna turn that off for now. And that's about it. Those are pretty much all the settings we ever touch. Let's say if it's too bright, you can just also adjust this toggle slider here. You can also change the orientation of your environment light, right? And you can change light intensity and shadow bias. Shadow bias is basically telling Sketchfab which shadows you want to appear or to be more lenient on what reflects. Yeah, you can play with those settings. For the most part, we only ever change the environment lighting to whatever that fits and suits, and then may turn on the lights for some finer control. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You don't have to worry about these other tabs. But yeah, it's only that. And then after you're done all these changes, you hit publish, and then it should publish. So I'm going to hit save settings. Yeah, that's about it. So then once this is published, you can copy and paste that link and go back to Basecamp, to whatever forum, right? And paste that link to tell the collaborator, okay, it's now it's on Sketchfab, take a look, tell us if there's any changes you want. Okay, so that is that Sketchfab. Last thing I'm gonna go through is the Excel sheet, right? This is our 3D TLEF Excel sheet. I'll also share the link on Slack. But this is what we use to keep track of what objects are completed or in progress or what have you. At the bottom here, there are different tabs for each department, right? Right now, the ongoing ones is MOAs. So there's some models here that need to be either reconstructed or to be scanned or to be uploaded, or it's still pending for review, or it's currently in process of optimizing. Yeah, and then there's Richard, where we have a couple models that are going to be due next week, as well as a few others. So the active collaborators that we'll be optimizing for is either MOAs or Richards, and then as well as the other collaborators that will be joining in sometime in November. But this is how we keep track of everything. You'll see that this is the object name. So you can label all your files as name. And then you can click your status by clicking on one of these drop-down menus to what it is, right? And depending on what you want, you can color code them. So here we went a little bit crazy and color coded what is happening, just so we can easily see, because there is quite a few items here. But yeah, it's also self-explanatory. This is something that we all use. So the acquisition team, optimization team, and even management uses this spreadsheet just to keep track of the models. There's a priority number based on what the collaborators need. There's a photo, and this is for the acquisition team, so they know what the object looks like. Object code and object name is pretty much almost the same thing, except in the file directory, there may be an object code instead. There's a status, and I'm going to keep scrolling back. There's a bunch of little checklist things you can add in based on what you're doing. Because I know that some of you guys will be working with acquisition, so Mike might touch upon this as well. But there's a bunch of like little things here, like oh, is it measured, or who was the one who scanned it, who's optimizing it. We use these blue columns to make any more adjustments or to give in a little bit more of notes based on the collaborator's feedback. So like base needs more detail, then we go back and rescan them. Handling comments, and then this is also where we can post the links for each of the models after we share them on Basecamp, right? And then all this stuff. Yeah, so that is the Excel sheet. So that's pretty much it.